There are some leaks. And I say leaks because, man, we're really close to release. We've already seen, like, Zotac cards pictured with, like, rounded edges. And we're getting some what look like finalized specs for RTX 4090 and 4080 based GPUs. They're purported to have 16 gigs and 12 gigs, respectively, of GDDR6X. The 4090 will have 24. The 4080 will have either 12 or 16, depending on the variant that you get. And both cards, both the 12 and 16 gig cards, will launch simultaneously. So you can choose if you need 12 or if you need 16. Kind of a weird
that is a very
place
odd...
to split it. Yeah. As if nVidia needed excuses for more SKUs. Anyway, the RTX 4090 is going to use an AD102 based GPU die with 16,384 CUDA cores, up from the current generation 3090 of, 10,768? Or the 11,000 you can get on the 3090 Ti and the Ampere A100. Boost clock of up to 2,500 megahertz and 24 gigs of GDDR6 memory, supposedly clocked at 21 gigabit per second. It will reach the same 1 terabyte of bandwidth capacity that the RTX 3090 Ti did, but have significantly more CUDA horsepower behind it, supposedly up to double the performance of the current 3090. The 3080 is going to debut with, again, both 16 or 12 gigabytes of video memory. And they actually will also be 2 different dies. With the 4080 coming in with the AD103 and 9,728 CUDA cores. Very similar specs, GDDR6 and 23 gigabit per second memory bandwidth. Interestingly enough, faster memory bandwidth than the 4090. Lastly, the RTX 4080 12 gig will come in with an AD104 with 7,680 CUDA cores and boost up to 2,600 megahertz, so slightly higher boost. Not unusual for a slightly stripped down GPU model. 12 gigs of GDDR6X and 21 gigabit per second modules. The interesting thing is the lower of these 3 cards, the 4080 12 gig, is going to have a TDP of 285 watts. And it can go all the way up to 366 watts under full load.
That's going to be a big power brick. A big power supply. Sorry, you're going to need.
Yeah, I mean
all of these. I mean the 4090. You need a 500 watt power supply just for the card.
660 watts.
Yeah,
660 watts. The current 3090. I think draws somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 at peak. So 660 watts just for the GPU. With some of the higher end CPUs that are coming out with the 180 watt TDP, we're nearly seeing 1,000 watts of draw just from CPU and GPU combos, not including the rest of your system, not including the 5 to 6 watts a piece for DIMM slots or your 3 or 4 watts for your NVMe or whatever spinning storage or anything else that you have. 1,000 watts just in the CPU and GPU.
I mean, if you had one of these computers like maxed out, basically you wanted to go by the top of everything, top of the line of everything, you're going to need a dedicated circuit in your house just to run that computer, essentially. And then you will see your power supply just start spinning like mad the moment you turn that thing on.
You realize 1,300 watts is a 15 amp circuit, right? Is a 15 amp 110 circuit, right?
I know, yeah. You're going to blow your house.
Yeah.
If you just tried plugging that in and boom, you're going to probably blow the house you try playing any game. Well, you probably wouldn't max it out, but still. Right. Someone puts a vacuum on the same circuit. There goes, you're going to blow.
Think of some newer like monitors. My monitor is an Aorus 43-inch 144 hertz panel. It by itself can draw like 75 watts. And that doesn't sound like a whole lot. Like, you know,
Oh,
when
you're
you
stacking.
or I were in high school, like 75 watts, that was a light bulb.
Yeah.
Now with LEDs, it's like, oh yeah, it's 6 watts for the same amount of light, right? Well, so our circuits like dramatically dropped in power, and power load went down. We're in a day and age with computers now that we're going to start pushing those household circuits again.
Yep.
Remember your
know.
lighting needing like 4 separate circuits in your house just in case you turned on all the lights at once?
Yes. Oh gosh.
Now I can turn every light in my house on full blast and it's like 120 watts.
I know. I have batteries that are technically more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what was? Although looking at this was funny. All I kept imagining was when you're going through the spec, it reminded me of something because we were talking about the 3080. You know, when it was rumored, this was years ago.
Yep.
And we were looking at the specs and be like, oh my gosh, and the price, there's no way this is going to be the greatest thing ever. All this kind of reminded me of, and you've watched Top Gear before.
Oh, of course.
And especially the British one, the good one, the original one. When they were talking about the Bugatti Veyron and being like, impossible. The idea of having 1,000 horsepower in a street legal car braking, I think it was like 250 miles an hour.
Right.
And then I just went and looked up like what's the top car. It's again another Bugatti. It's the Bugatti Chiron.
Yeah.
304.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what were we in awe of back then? Just the leaps and bounds now of everything. The amount of power it's taking to do that is tremendous,
right?
Obviously. But wow, technology and everything is just pushing so much faster and farther. And the amount of cores and memory we're able to have is just intense. You know, like you were talking about, like having a 7080 was a couple, 10 years ago. Yeah, or was decent. You know, I could do whatever I want.
Right.
Yeah,
1080, 1070. Right.
I could do whatever I want. This is great. 2 gigs, 4 gigs, I'm fine. We're talking at 24 gigs here. This is also
to be fair, I did buy the 3090 specifically for video editing because I edit ProRes LT. That's what I shoot pretty much all my videos in, and it takes a fair amount of memory to keep that cranking. I'll easily use 12 to 16 gigs in a single cut. So it's great that I have it. Still don't like what I paid for it, and I'm even more upset that I can buy one on eBay right now for $750.
Yeah.
Not even kidding. I want to buy one just to piss myself off.
Tell you what, you want to piss yourself off really a lot? Buy one and then just give it to me.
Right.
For free. Just let me have it.
Yeah, boy, that's a tempting offer.
If you really want to piss yourself off, Jeff, I will let you do that.
Yeah. I mean, I have a 3070 I'm not even using.
That's what pisses me off.
I'm kidding. I'm using it.
Yeah. To like render some crappy HTML website.
No. It looks great on my shelf.
You.